How do you practice Stoicism? Do you adopt it as your philosophy of life and use it to guide your every thought and action? Do you dip in and out of its practical exercises semi-regularly? Maybe you've lapsed somewhat in your commitment to live an examined life and are finding it difficult to get back on track. Or perhaps you've never practiced Stoicism before and are trying to find out more. Wherever you're sitting currently in your philosophical practice, one thing is certain: you aren't perfect. It's certain because, as the ancient Stoics believed, no one is, or ever will be for that matter, perfect. The idea of the wise sage was an ideal they held up as something to strive toward, but which could never realistically be achieved. The Stoic student's responsibility was therefore to get a little better each day, through repeated practice, to get a little closer to the level of wisdom of the sage. As such, even the simplest Stoic reminders are of value to the most experienced of practitioners as they reinforce the repetition required to realize the benefits of practical philosophy. Here are 30 ways to instantly be more Stoic. Maybe one will be enough to refocus you today, or maybe you'll decide to try one a day for the next month to get back into a Stoic rhythm. Whatever you take from this, remember to keep practicing. Do someone a kindness. The ancient Stoics believed that we exist for the sake of one another. We were born to work together. Not only do kind acts help others, they help us too. As Seneca wrote, "No material reward is required. The wages of a good deed is to have done it." Reframe a problem as a challenge. It's not so much what happens to us that determines our peace of mind, but how we react to it. By treating setbacks as tests, by changing how we think about adversity, we can change how we deal with it. Ask, is this necessary? As Marcus Aurelius put it, most of what we say and do isn't essential. We waste valuable time on frivolous things when we could be pursuing what gives us purpose. With every action you take today, ask yourself if it's necessary. Understand what depends on you. The chief task in life, according to Epictetus, is to separate what is within our control from what isn't. You control your opinions, intentions, desires, and whatever's your own doing. Ensure most of your focus remains on making good choices in those areas. Examine judgments. It's the classic Stoic precept. It isn't things, events, and people that disturb us. It's our judgments about them. When a judgment quickly arises, objectively put it to the test and determine its accuracy. Face a fear. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite fear. Facing fears, a little at a time so as not to get overwhelmed, provides a sense of purpose in the short term. In the long term, it reduces the amount of things you are afraid of. Say less, listen more, do more. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, said we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen twice as much as we speak. Epictetus said we shouldn't be constantly talking about the kind of people we are. We should be showing our character through our actions. Can you listen more than you speak today? Can you show people who you are, rather than tell them? Align your words and actions. You may be saying less and doing more, as per the previous point, but your good character is only proven if those two are always in harmony. Let go of a past regret. Freedom from rumination on a past event can come when you resolve to learn the embedded lessons from it. When it comes to the past, you have the power to change the story you've been telling yourself about it. Plan for the future. Plan for what you can. But remember this to avoid obsessing. Some bridges can be crossed when you come to them. The ability to tackle unexpected difficulties with a calm mind can be as valuable as good preparation. Count your blessings. This classic cliché is the simplest of gratitude exercises, but when was the last time you actually did it? Forgo a pleasure. From the Roman Stoic Musonius Rufus, if you accomplish something good with hard work, the labor passes quickly, but the good endures. If you do something shameful in pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure passes quickly, but the shame endures. Improve a little. The Stoic commits to being a student of life, for life. As long as they live, they keep learning how to live. A better version of yourself is better equipped to improve both your life and the lives of others. Remember, you will die. Death will come. What else is there to do in the meantime than to be grateful and make the most, really make the most, of the fact that it hasn't come yet? Reject perfection. It might seem like it sometimes, but no one has it all figured out. Everyone makes mistakes. All you can do is try your best to make as few as possible and to learn from the ones you do make. Live in the present. The past concerns you no more. The future concerns you not yet. Embrace now, which is often much more bearable than the pain we're trying to run away from. Treat today as a new life. To begin to live, wrote Seneca, count each day as a separate life. Restart daily and fit in all those meaningful things that will leave you fulfilled at the end of it. Protect your character. You can cultivate good character by being consistently good. Your character is yours. Other people's character and actions are theirs. You can only be harmed if you allow your character to be harmed. Cut out bad people. Keep company with those who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. If they don't support your development, if their behavior impacts you negatively, you don't need them. Read. Books are the training weights of the mind. Without an understanding of the theory, there is nothing to inform a philosophical practice. Be rational about what others think. If you believe in something, if it's the right thing to do it. What others will say shouldn't matter. And anyhow, most people are far more concerned with what they're doing than what you are. Embrace emotion. The emotional goal of a Stoic is not to be unfeeling like a statue. It is to care for their relationships, to be moved by the fleeting beauty of life, to feel tranquility of mind, and to experience the joy in living. Stop postponing. In trying to master tomorrow, we lose today. Procrastination postpones happiness. What small step can you take today toward the life you've always wanted? Expect fate. Fate visits when it sees fit. To free yourself from its grip, expect its arrival, accept the hand it deals, and adapt to its consequences. When feeling frustrated, pause. The greatest remedy for anger, wrote Seneca, is delay. Remember that instinctive feelings don't need to guide your actions. A short pause before reacting can work wonders. Love what happens. Whatever happens, assume that it was bound to happen. This is not an attitude of passivity, but one of accepting those things that can't be changed so you can focus on the things that can. Be a friend to yourself. Like a best friend would. Demand the best for yourself. Support yourself. Be strict with yourself without ever being abusive. Review your mistakes but forgive yourself. Make the good choices today that you'll thank yourself for tomorrow. Take a walk. Breaks are essential for the mind to regain its sharpness. Seneca advised talking walks to refresh and raise our spirits. Don't add a second story to suffering. We exaggerate problems or imagine them where none exist. Remove emotional language and complaints about today's issues to peel away the unnecessary extra layers of disturbance. Be good. As the Stoics believed, virtue is the only good. To be good, we need to do good. This means using wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation to guide our actions. And it means practicing every day. As Seneca wrote, nature does not bestow virtue. It is an art to become good. You are a Stoic, said a friend to me a few years ago. I replied with a puzzled look. I knew the definition of Stoic, suffering pain or difficulty without complaining. But the A before Stoic meant something else. He then explained, you have an almost Zen-like calm through ups and downs. You control your emotions, do not let external events upset you, reflect a lot on what happens, are generally happy and content, and are always wondering how to become a better version of yourself. These are the key ideas behind Stoicism. You should look it up. That was the first time I had come across Stoicism. The fault was entirely mine. The focus on engineering early on in my career meant that the liberal arts were given short shrift. This is the one thing I would undo if I had a chance to live life again. Philosophy was a word I dreaded after doing a compulsory course during my undergrad in IIT. It took me almost 3 decades to forget those scars and take a fresh look at philosophy, economics, and the related arts. As I read about Stoicism, I realized that my friend was right. I had lived life on the principles of Stoicism without understanding that there was a name for it. Since then, I have read up more on Stoicism and have even advocated it to many others. What the Greeks and Romans came up with a couple thousand years ago has modern-day relevance. They also tie in with some of the ideas in Jainism around detachment. These ideas have helped me, not just in personal life, but also in business as an entrepreneur, to live through more than 30 failed ventures and maintain equanimity through the 3 successes I have had in the past 3 decades. When I spoke to others about Stoicism, I realized most were like me a few years ago. Very few had heard about Stoicism. Hence this series, to summarize the key ideas, provide some stories from my life, and offer suggestions on leading a better life. We cannot control the events that happen, but can control our reactions to those events. The writings and wisdom of people like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca can help us lead a happier life and also create a continuously improving version of ourselves. It can mean better relationships with those around us, at home and work. And by doing so, we will have less stress and greater mental calm. Each of us may have our own way to reach that state: meditation, long walks, journaling, and so on. But what I like about Stoicism is that it provides a holistic approach rather than point solutions. Philosophy is the study of ideas and beliefs about the meaning of life. I wish I had studied it more when I was younger. This series is a way to correct that mistake and offer advice to others who are younger and likely to find it useful. In today's always-on world, where it can be hard to find peace and tranquility amidst a constant flurry of meetings and messages, Stoicism offers a guide to a more fulfilling life. A Stoic is someone who transforms fear into prudence, pain into transformation, mistakes into initiation, and desire into undertaking. Nassim Taleb. So, what is Stoicism? Wikipedia. Stoicism is a school of Hellenistic philosophy founded by Zeno of Citium in Athens in the early 3rd century BC. It is a philosophy of personal ethics, informed by its system of logic and its views on the natural world. According to its teachings, as social beings, the path to eudaimonia, happiness or blessedness, is found in accepting the moment as it presents itself, by not allowing oneself to be controlled by the desire for pleasure or by the fear of pain, by using one's mind to understand the world and to do one's part in nature's plan, and by working together and treating others fairly and justly. The Stoics are especially known for teaching that virtue is the only good for human beings, and those external things, such as health, wealth, and pleasure, are not good or bad in themselves, adiaphora, but have value as material for virtue to act upon.